Well, I was wondering because Danny didn't comb his hair. He had to put a hat on.
He's probably been out on his boat.
I did walk down to the boat actually,
Uh-huh. That's what I figured.
and I was on the phone about half the time.
So
But
you have a dock at your house?
I do.
Okay, good. So you're on one of the bays?
It's Davis Bio. I guess technically it goes into Biloxi Bay.
Does
I
it go in
mean,
the back bay?
no, that's really the front. I'm
Okay. We're
Yeah.
live.
this way.
Yeah, my sister
With
lived in past
live.
Christiane for a long time, and they had one of those bios. And it was a long, winding ride, but it would eventually go back into the back bay.
Okay, we go back in order here. First on the agenda will be Josh.
Yes. So, Michelle, do you think it'd be easier for you to pull up the bond schedule and we'll go in that
I
order?
can. I've got it open already, so let me
All
just
right,
go ahead and.
My list is in a different order than the bond schedule versus what was in ClearGov, and that might just be simpler and we'll just one by one.
Okay, I will share my screen.
And we can start by saying, Josh, you need to start figuring out what you don't have to do.
All right, can y'all see?
Yeah, you might want to, can you enlarge it any?
Enlarge it, please.
I knew that was coming. So somehow I knew that was coming.
You forgot to call my name.
Enhancing. Oh, Terry can't see.
There you go.
I know it's Alderman Campbell. It's all Alderman Campbell.
That's right. Can't see.
All right. Is that better?
That's about as big as it's gonna get.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
She maximized.
these things are next year. I'm going to have this preliminary and my list and everything in the same order, so it'll be a lot easier for me to follow. But I'll start off. So the Airport North Industrial Site flood mitigation. The city has received 1.1 million in state funds over the last two cycles of funding. The requested 500,000 fully funds this project. It's putting a new 6-foot diameter pipe right at where the new hangar is, right on the north side of it, across the runway, across the taxiway, and then digging a new enlarged ditch all the way to Ronaldman and Rosemary Road and redoing all the drainage at that intersection. So this will mitigate that flooding, but it'll also allow us to continue development on that 20-acre site at the airport that we've been working on for several years. So we have a preliminary 500,000 fully funded. We'll get started. This will be done next year. We have a pending $400,000 DRA grant. We won't know the results on that grant till I think late September is what Allison Denson told us. We're hopeful. I know we've been trying really hard. We've gotten letters in. Mayor Now and I have sat down and met with very different people and gotten different support letters, and it's a real fundable project. So I'm optimistic about grant funding, but for now we're requesting the full funding, the final match requirement to actually get this project off the ground.
When will you know?
I think late September.
Okay, so we may know by September if we can free up 400,000.
And so what we've been talking about is maybe make a kind of a first alternate list of an extra $400,000 worth of funding in case this comes through.
Okay.
Any other questions on that before I move on? I've got drawings and I could go real deep dive, but is there anything questions before we move on?
No.
Hopefully we get it because it'll be a real big deal. We've worked really hard on it and it would keep a lot of flooding out for sure.
All right. Next up, the Airport Emergency Access Road. Y'all received a roughly $200,000 grant from MDOT through the multimodal program. And this is constructing a new concrete road at the end of Taxiway Bravo going directly to the fire station at the airport. So in the event of an emergency or fire trucks will drive straight across the road onto a new short roadway that'll run. We'll put a new automatic gate or emergency access gate at the end of the taxiway. And it'll be easy for first responders, and, police and firefighters. And that's just the 50 grand is your matching, which is, I guess 20% match on that project. All right, moving on. This is the
Apron extension.
requested. I'll get into the match. We're looking $110,000 is the preliminary engineering contract to fund the design only for the north apron expansion, which is the city received, I think it's 1.8 million in federal funds to extend the ramp right beside the new hangar and add another taxiway. And this extends aviation access to the north 20-acre site. Y'all built the road last year and utilities last year. This will now allow a site to have aviation airside access as well. So you have 1.8 million in federal. We're just requesting to fund the PE engineering contract. The construction and any construction match this will all go out to bids next summer. And I'm not anticipating construction to start till fall of next year. So no budget as of right now for any construction portion. And Michelle, you're going to have to go into the.
Okay, so hang on a
breakdown.
minute. You said construction won't start until next year?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Explain what next year is.
Fiscal year 26, we didn't budget for this project. The only thing we budgeted for is the 110,000 preliminary engineering.
Gotcha.
They're planning.
Okay. I got it.
So
I understand.
So we've taken 2,660 out of the bond, and 107,340 we've reallocated from another project.
Okay.
And this is under the FAA schedule. You're slotted for construction for this money to be available under their schedule in fall of 25.
Okay.
So
So
fiscal
we have
year
1 year to get a
26.
full set of plans done, essentially. All right, moving along, our highway, it's really Highway 8 sidewalk improvement project,
Yeah, I don't know why it's got.
which is that is our MDOT funded project running new sidewalks from Statesman's Park Boulevard at Delta State back to downtown to Hey Joe's. And on the north side, plus doing improvements across from Hey Joe's between Cotton Row and Sharp. And y'all budgeted the majority of the match last year. We're in a right-of-way acquisition phase right now. And this is our updated budget requesting an additional 23,000 to be added to the project. But you won't see, depending on how long the right-of-way takes, I don't think this project will be even out to bid till late spring of next year of 25. All right, moving along. High school lift station. This is a sanitary sewer pump station located on the north side of Cleveland Central. We actually included this as a ARPA/MCWI project, and we took bids on it as an alternate, and we didn't have enough money to actually award it. But this station is a one of your last simplex station, meaning it only has one pump in it, and it's got a lot of problems. They're constantly fighting it. This is the worst lift station you currently have. We've
Is
spent
that the one on Fayette Davis?
No,
No,
it's
didn't
on
think so.
Merritt.
We just-
It's on Merritt Drive. I
That's
think.
right.
at the end down from there. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
all of the country club and that whole neighborhood south of the country club all come to this station. And like I said, it's only one pump. Every sewer station is required by DEQ to have a duplex, 2 pumps minimum for redundancy. And this is your only, Memorial, I guess, is in that boat today. This is your only one that truly only has 1 pump. It's not even plumbed to have 2 pumps. And so every time there's an issue, all the sewer goes out immediately with any of the pumps, and they're constantly having issues at the station. And Michelle, what was the note on this one?
So we talked about reallocating this, making this a potential ARPA project. because we have a little bit of money left in the ARPA fund. And then you said there would be potentially funds left on the Shelby Sewer Basin
Yep.
project those funds could be reallocated to this project when the Shelby Sewer Basin project is complete, we will know.
Yeah, so we awarded the Shelby Sewer Basin project, and we were approximately 200,000 under budget with the bid price. However, there's a lot of assumptions in these. Shelby Sewer is we're inspecting and lining your sewer system. So you make a lot of assumptions of how many breaks have to be dug up and repaired. Are they in the street? Are they in the grass? So we put placeholders in there, and you won't know until after you get done cameraing the system. So I don't want to relinquish the 200,000 yet until we get into construction, complete the initial cleaning and cameraing survey, and then we'll know if we could pull some of that money out and start a new ARPA project. So tentatively, we're requesting a bond for it now, but we'll know in about, I don't know, we're probably 3 months out before we'll know where this project's really going to come as final cost.
So Gary, I think that answers your question about whether or not we could use that for police cars.
I don't have to like it.
I know.
But it answers it.
That's right.
You can't because the ARPA, it's MCWI tied in that 200,000.
Oh, MCWI money's tied into it.
Yeah,
That's right.
so the 200,000, half of it would be MCWI and half of
And
it's
half of
local
it's ARPA. That's
Yeah, so
right.
if you wanted to use it for police stations and we did come police cars, you'd have to give back 100,000 in free grant money.
Because of the MCWI money.
That's correct.
Go to the next thing.
All right. Memorial Drive. This is I guess it's the second largest sanitary sewer pump in Cleveland. The largest would be the Influent. Memorial Drive is a huge station. It was built in the early 80s, has had very little real improvements made to it over the years. All the other stations built like Memorial Drive are Bishop, Hillcrest, Tibbs, and Farmer. I think I might be missing one. It's that whole west side interceptor. They've all been rebuilt over the last 5 years. And we changed the design of them, kind of modernized them. This is the last one on the west side intersection that has not been modernized. And what this proposal is to really retrofit this station into something that you would build today, quite frankly. I mean, right now you have electric motors that have 25-foot long metal shafts, and those shafts have U-joints like every 10 feet or 7, 8 feet. And so you get a ton of friction and vibration buildup. And as these things run, they wear the pump bases out, and your bearings end up failing on you. And so anyways, this is a 40 some odd year old station. We're trying to get rid of all the old equipment, put in a new modern electric motor that can go down in the bottom of the hole that can be flooded, an immersible motor. And it'll cut down a ton of maintenance. Right now, one of these pumps is not actively running. So you only have one functional pump in this station, which is, like I said, the second biggest station in town. So we're either going to have to spend a good chunk of money rebuilding the other one that'd only last temporarily, or we just look at fixing it right and replacing them. So we're requesting, if we have the budget, to fix it right and try to go ahead and replace both motors now to get it, rebuild it like we've done the other ones. And Michelle, you were planning on reallocating?
The bond request was 144. I reallocated the 110 from the Public Works gutter project because we didn't have to do that because of the roof claim.
Okay. Any questions on Memorial Drive? All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Next, this is something I really want to talk about. RAISE grant, which is Rebuilding America's Infrastructure, Sustainable and Equitable maybe. But anyways, big federal infrastructure grants that'll fund roadways, sidewalks, pedestrian walkways, stuff like that. I think the minimum grant size is 5 million, maximum is 25. So it's a big program. We have been working with a grant writer out of Hattiesburg, and they they've been real successful in raised grants and big federal grants. They've helped the Port of Rosedale get 2 big federal programs in the last couple of years. The last 5 raised grants funded in Mississippi, they worked on all of them. They were the grant writer for all of them. Over the last 2 cycles, it was 5 funded, including Natchez got 25 million. Starkville got 25 million. I have a list I can pull up.
And we got
So-
50,000.
Well, no, 50,000 is the budget to apply
Okay.
for this program. That pays for them, pays for us to assemble. What we're wanting to do, I've been talking to them, is develop
That was
Develop
not
a
a good
big-
example.
develop a big plan for downtown. You know, if you go back to that charrette, there's a lot of improvements recommended of like rebuilding North Street out to Highway 8, rebuilding Court Street out to Delta State with better lights and sidewalks, upgrading, fixing all the parking issues downtown, adding more lighting downtown. You could even include more pedestrian access, fixing your ADA crossovers, your sidewalks, none are ADA compliant going from
We talked
College,
about this
Shore.
being able to be in there.
Absolutely. So we could even plan to build new parking lots like where the recycling facility is now and build new connections from there to downtown. But like I said, your grant size is 5 to 25 million, so you can dream big. Like in that charrette, they had tearing out that parking lot right southeast of City Hall and making that into a park. Tearing out the streets and having brick paver intersections was in the charrette in those areas. And so we haven't come up with exactly what we want to apply for. I'd like to start working on it and get these guys engaged. And that's the request. It's 50,000 to apply. If we don't get funding, reapply is pretty cheap. It's like $5,000, I think, to reapply. But these guys do a pretty good job. And he says
They're
every
5
month
for
they've ever
5,
worked-
is that right?
Sorry?
Josh, they've done 5 and they've received 5.
He says every raised grant they've worked on have been funded. However,
And-
not all
Usually
of them
doesn't
have been
happen in the
funded in
first
years.
year
Pretty
though,
bold.
right?
Yeah. He said like Natchez, I think they applied 3 years in a row. And
Right.
so Natchez 25 million, they're fixing a lot of downtown improvements, sidewalks and crosswalks, same stuff we're talking about. And then access and signage to get to downtown to try to direct more people that are on the
Which
highway.
we need.
Which is exactly what the charrette said. I think it's great. We can dream up all these plans. But I asked them point blank, I said, Natchez got 25 million. Surely they're way farther along than us. Did they have these elaborate master plans that they've worked on for 30 years and all that stuff? No. I showed him our charrette, and his pretty much exact comment was, he said, they didn't have anything more than we did. And they managed to get 25 million. So I think it's worth starting to pursue.
Dreaming big.
Yeah.
Is this Josh, is this $50,000 application fee or for the company to help on this application?
To pay the company. There's no application fee it's all through federal highway. There is no fee to apply. This is to pay them to put the grant together. And it includes, you got to do these big cost benefit analysis, and you've got to do reports on your economics in the area and your I don't know, it's pretty elaborate. There's a huge process. This grant will probably be like a 250-page grant application.
Okay.
And you said year 2 and year 3 usually is around, if there's a year 3 required or whatever, but you said the subsequent years are usually around $5,000 or
That's
so
correct.
each.
So what they do, and I've set in on these with different programs for the last couple of years. And so you apply for the grant, and then if you don't get funded, you request a grant like debrief, and they'll bring on the people who ranked your grant, and you go through section by section, and they tell you exactly where you ranked well, where you didn't rank well, what kept you. And some of it is as minor of, like one grant got funded this past year. They didn't repeat themselves. They wrote the grant document like every person reviewing it would review the whole document. Well, what happens is they separate your grant document into 8 sections. 8 different people review each section. So if you don't repeat yourself throughout every section to tell the high points, you don't rank well. And so some of it's silly stuff like that. But anyways, they're good at it. I've been impressed lately with these guys, and I'd love to try to get them engaged.
So if we don't get the grant, what would be the cost to use them again?
About 5,000, roughly.
It's a good deal.
And this
25
grant,
million it is.
It is.
yeah, and
If
maybe,
we can get 25 million, it would be great.
yeah, maybe the grant's 25 million, maybe whatever we dream up is
15, whatever.
15,
Right.
but either way it goes,
million. 1 million would be great.
I think this would be a good step in. We've had a lot of different stuff talked about downtown. I think this will lead us on the path of making a really big, elaborate plan. And then look, if this doesn't get funded, we can
Would you
start
be
cherry
a
picking
part
out
of this?
different
process?
sections and different programs.
They'd interview me and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
And Josh mostly.
So Josh, you will be working hand in hand with them, as
Yes,
they
ma'am.
go.
So the
through
next,
this? Okay.
the next step, if we get these guys engaged, we need to get them up here. And Mayor, now I know Hannah in the chamber, I know we already have some of these downtown committees that have different thoughts and plans, and we just need to start assembling what all these ideas are. Take our charrette, we're going to pull out a lot of the stuff in it, and kind of trying to just put all this together. And then they're going to want to pull like tourism data, and we'll give them all the stuff from the buses coming from the river and all those tourists, 21,000 tourists a year. They'll use that. I know the chamber collects like cell phone data, and they can tell you how many tourists are coming every month. So we'll have to really work with the chamber, pull off some of this stuff to make this grant look good. But and it needs to happen. I should talk about that. They're due. They would like to have it completely done by Christmas.
Wow.
So if we are going to move in this direction, we need to know now to start working. So, or not real soon. So
Do it.
I think you got us sold on it for
right.
sure.
That was gonna be my next question. When do we need to start?
All right. Ladder truck. I don't think y'all need a ladder truck. I like the one you got. We could skip that one. No, so cemetery,
I have some thoughts about that too, Josh, but I'm gonna have to talk to the fire chief.
every 20 years, I don't get it, but anyways.
That truck's older than that.
Is it?
That's 25.
Well, y'all take such good care of them. It looks like it was made yesterday.
They're actually having some issues with that truck. What's that 850 from other funds, Michelle?
I'm sorry.
The 850 on other
It's
fund,
the-
or that was last year we bought
That's
it?
the last year's appropriation.
Yes, sorry.
705 for this year, and that'll leave y'all 600,000 for,
I
next
saw
year.
the 24. I wasn't thinking ahead to next year. I apologize.
no, you're good.
All right. Cemetery, we're going to have to come up with a better name, but the cemetery right south of the armory on the city of Cleveland's property, we drew up a real kind of master plan. If all of that turned into a cemetery, and then we took where it ultimately could be, and it was like 3,000 graves total, and then we started cutting it back into 6 sections. And this phase would do a little over 800 cemetery plots. And it would be building it like, I guess, West Lawn. It's going to have a concrete street there. It's going to be proper width and radius and fenced in. And so it's building it identical, kind of same concept as the last phase of that one. And that's it. And it's expensive, but that includes all the dirt work, drainage, concrete streets, fencing.
500.
And subdividing it off. Yes, sir.
We definitely need that because West Lawn
We
can't
talking about the armory?
put another
Yeah.
body there.
Yeah.
And
We
if I'm
got
not,
8 acres right there.
Okay.
we might have to ask Steve-O, but I'm pretty sure Steve-O and I can't remember your cemetery guy's name, but
Benji.
Benji, we've reviewed all this, and I think from their numbers, they thought this would last like 15 years worth of graves of what they've historically been selling in West.
And that's 800.
Mhm.
The first phase would be 800. That's a
Yes,
whole lot.
So
So Josh and I talked in one of our meetings that we had reviewing all this, and he says, you could possibly look at, cutting that in half, maybe doing 400, but the infrastructure part is what's so expensive. So you probably wouldn't save that much money just to reduce what you're planning. So the cost of doing 800 is probably not that much more than doing 400.
That's right.
Okay, well, that was gonna be my next question.
Yeah, you've reduced the streets just a real margin. You're building a loop anyway, so cutting out 400 lots is not cutting out. You're going to save a little bit of concrete, and that would be it. Little bit of fence. It's just not enough to. It's not enough to consider.
Is
And
that,
so
is
once
that
we
be
get
using,
there, we can tighten
is
up.
that using every bit of that land?
Oh no, that's only using. I have a map.
About half of it.
So which end of that property are you using?
West
the
end.
southwest
The south
corner.
end?
Yes, sir. Southwest corner. So we're not getting on any of the
Southwest.
property that came with the armory. So we're south of that little old road that divided the city's original property and the armory property.
Okay.
And so this would be on Charlie Caps in your southwest corner of that land.
Ed's saying okay to that, everybody.
Yeah, that's definitely need that because down at West Lawn now there's no room for another body unless somebody really have bought a lot in the past. So we definitely need to work on that as soon as possible.
Can y'all see my screen?
No, let me give you share. Hang on. Let me stop sharing.
You know, you wouldn't think it
Now we
would be
can.
quite as much since so many people are being cremated now.
There we go.
I didn't
All
hear
right.
it.
So there's the armory. We drew up this entire block of land. This block over here is what the city got from where that old communication tower was. But so we're planning on carving out this southwest corner of this property with 800 graves.
So
Yes,
that property to the right of it, is that where that storage facility is?
Storage facilities to the south. The green building on Charlie Caps.
Yeah,
It's just right off this page.
I got you. Okay.
And so we're just building one concrete perimeter loop, similar to West Lawn. And then all this will be grassed alleys. We'll have drainage swells. And then it will be fenced. It'll have nice gates, signs. And then you can add, like I said, 816 per phase with 6 phases. So it take a long time to run out of graves here. Any questions on that?
No.
All right. Michelle, you have the.
All right.
Let's see. Street, this is we started our 3-year street improvement with use tax collections. And we're doing year 1 right now. We're paving on South 6th Avenue today. And trying to wrap that project up next month. And then this will be the second phase or second year's worth of this project, using still no bond funds, still using use tax and continue.
All right. Now, was there some money left over from last year's project?
From this current year?
Well, this,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a little bit. I did roll it forward into fiscal year 25 in case they weren't finished up, in case there was anything left to.
I don't think there's.
It wasn't much. It was very
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, I know we came in a little under budget, but I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to be much.
It
And
was very, very little.
we're having to add a few little odds and ends as we go, so I'm not anticipating it to come in under budget for this year.
Yeah. Because remember we did a change order because we actually increased it for that paving that was added.
And so just to kind of refresh everybody's memory, this year is primarily asphalt. Next year, we're going to pick up all the asphalt that we're not getting to this year that we've been had planned. And then we're going to start on some of the concrete streets with asphalt overlays. They've been kind of the stepchildren streets that we never want to touch because they're so expensive and they're kind of a mess. So anyways, next year with a good budget, we're going to try to address a lot of those, like Maple, one that sticks out to me. I could pull the list up and go over if y'all like.
South Street and all, and East End get into this cycle.
That's
Those
correct.
streets are
South
terrible.
Street, Maple Street, Shelby Street, First Avenue are all on this list. First Avenue by Fireman's Park. These are all on the list of concrete strips, asphalt overlaid that are in terrible shape, and they need a good bit of money. And then it includes asphalt, Merritt Drive, Cox Drive, two different portions of Deering, College Street, from Bishop to Canal, so the east side of College, and then Bella Vista, from Bishop to Hendricks, so over in Bearpin Park neighborhood. And then we also have a few concrete repairs on Lucy, Seabury, and LaFleur. But what our plan is, we're going to still do the street inspection in the winter, see how these roads make it through winter, and we'll come back with a tighter list, present it to the board, probably in February, before we let this next contract next summer.
When have you visited East End over there? Have you looked at East End Street?
I can. Be happy to look at it. All right.
Thank you.
Josh, also, I know you gave us a list of those streets that's gonna have the repair work done. Can we get a list of those streets that won't fall under the umbrella right now? So we'll know exactly which ones is gonna be outstanding.
So you want the streets we're doing this year or the proposed streets for next year?
No, the ones that we won't be able to get to.
Don't you have a proposal for the whole plan?
Yes.
I think that's what
Just send that out and you can figure out which ones
that's what
are.
Robert
Okay.
wants to see, the
Right.
whole plan.
Yeah, just.
Okay, yeah.
I'll do
You
that.
get that to me and let me take a look at it. So if I have any questions,
No problem.
somebody else have any questions.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Moving along, we want to restripe. This is something Steve-O and I have been talking about for years, and we want to restripe the entire loop around the city. Martin Luther King, Rosemary Road, Ronaldman, and Bishop. And after kind of kicking it around with Michelle, what we'd like to do is tack the striping on to the back end of this road project. Once we get some of these streets that are in real need of repair, we could end up incorporating this into our road plan in the future, utilizing use tax dollars. So we're not making any request for any bond issue for that this year, but we do think it's needed. And then just to point out, all those streets will be striped the same, but MLK, we're proposing to take to a 3-lane roadway. It's the south half of the south end of it was not constructed wide enough to properly accommodate 4 lanes. And so the striping, they've just kind of let fade off. And it's some people think it's 2 lanes, some people think it's 4, and it's kind of a mess. We want to clean that up and make it a nice 3-lane roadway.
Let me highlight a little bit of that too. And I know exactly what you're saying. And I'm sure you witnessed it. If anybody else has been on Martin Luther King, they witnessed it too. If you don't watch it, someone will rear end you or hit you, side swipe you, because they really try to use that outside lane to make it that
all the time.
Yeah.
And if you slow down in the middle, you're getting passed on the right side.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And there's
right.
a lot of pedestrian
you're right.
traffic on that street too.
Yeah, that's right. Wow,
So if for some reason, we'll see how the street budget looks next year. And if we had to phase it, I'd love to start on MLK personally, because we're still doing some other work and I think it'd make a big difference in cleaning that up.
Dude, I drive a bus and they pass me.
all the time. Shoot past you. And what's really frightening is that we got the sidewalk project put down, and someone messed around and run up on that sidewalk and hit someone. So that's
Every day.
This is a good one that maybe it'll make an alternate, but renovating City Hall, we managed to get with.
Hey, can that, just out of curiosity, couldn't that be included in that raise grant?
No, sir.
Why?
Raise is for infrastructure, street infrastructure only. It's a federal highway project to fund vehicular and pedestrian improvements, traffic
Okay.
flow improvement. You can't do any, we couldn't even build the proposed, that group was talking about
Gazebo.
the gazebo. The gazebo wouldn't be an eligible project in it. But the paths going to the gazebo would be eligible, and the lighting around it needed safely light the area could be eligible, but not.
Yeah, because City Hall is right in the middle of town, and it really needs to look better.
Well, Josh and I are hoping if he gets that $400,000 of grant funds, that it would free up money. And I don't know about anybody else, but City Hall renovation is #1 on my list of priorities to maybe take some of that $400,000.
Let's see, I can share this little drawing.
Let me stop my share.
See if that works.
Outside's acceptable, but inside
Oh yeah, we
pretty
did.
dated.
We updated the outside. Mayor, was it last year?
A couple of years ago, I think.
Year before.
Can y'all see my cursor too?
Yes.
So just preliminarily, our plan of just walking through and kind of assessing City Hall and some of the needs. Kind of what we've come up with is you're real tight in your area coming into your water can't alert. So here's the main entrance to City Hall. Some of these walls aren't needed, trying to kind of expand this area, restructure some of the kind of use over here. And then the bulk of it, there's a little bit of wall moving, fixing some of the break room, but the vast majority of it is new wall coverings. You got a lot of old paneling. We tear it out, put sheetrock, new floors throughout the entire building, painting everything, all new ceiling tiles and insulation throughout the whole interior, and then fixing the break room is a mess. Making that a functional space, upgrading all the bathrooms, including making sure we have ADA compliant bathrooms everywhere. And then that is the base bid. We've been working with a local contractor to help price this out. And then the alternate, when I think all of that is included in the cost.
It is included in the total. The alternate's included in the total.
Expanding the boardroom. So we would take your existing boardroom. This is drawn to scale, your actual meeting table. Tearing out, the floor gets raised. You've got some old vaults in an old bathroom that's been kind of gutted. Tearing that wall out, reframing it pink would be a new wall, and growing, I don't have my measurement on there, I think roughly 20 feet.
Yeah.
And then the board meeting table would be on this elevated floor that's 8 inches higher roughly. And so the board could push all that back, have a lot larger sitting area for the public.
What, just out of curiosity, what would it take to tear those vaults out?
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
The alternate was 40.
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, 45.
I think this includes 45,000, but all of the flooring and walls were already included in the other one. So just 45,000 was a beam. Shoot, I got it.
That was the expansion.
45,000 just to tear that out, put a beam in, and then the little light framed wall. So, and West,
just Michelle, out of curiosity, what's upstairs?
Nothing.
Come by sometime. We'll walk up there.
Yeah, be careful though when you go up there.
There's a lot of space up there, and we looked at that at one point. But I'm telling you,
Brian,
it would be a huge undertaking.
It's prohibitive. It's just
one of the issues.
I'm just curious.
You can't have any public space up there. It's not ADA compliant. You'd have to build an elevator on the outside.
We have to have an elevator. It's all kinds of stuff. It opens up a whole new thing.
Yeah, it got out of proportion real quick.
But so Josh,
Yes, ma'am.
If this is an undertaking, how long would this project? How long would it be to complete this project?
Yeah, I really don't think it's gonna be that long. I mean, the vast majority of it is painting and taking off paneling and putting on sheetrock and floors. I mean, I think you could easily, you're gonna have to phase it is gonna be the issue.
Mhm.
So I'd have to talk a couple months realistically, but we'd have to have a really good game plan. We'd have to get the city, probably Public Works, to help move furniture around and like we temporarily set some people up in the boardroom area maybe or something like that elsewhere, and then work in the back and then shift them around. So if you could just shut the whole place down, it could go quick, but with phasing,
Can't
They do
happen.
that.
it takes a few months.
I was just wondering, because, we have our, at least monthly meeting, what if that would displace us?
Right.
Or
It
would we have to
would,
just go
we would
virtual?
probably have to meet via
Or
Zoom.
virtual? That's what I was just thinking, yeah.
That would work.
Yeah.
You did it before,
Robert, you can share your office.
huh?
You can share your
Josh?
office.
Fire station.
I tell you what,
Josh,
Yes,
I would be mad about it.
if you raise that floor 8 inches, is that gonna make the ceiling too short for Alderman Sanders?
it might. Right. So that floor is existing, already raised. This building, City Hall, was built with several different expansions over the years, and it was a hodgepodge together. So the floor back here in this back was just naturally built 8 or 12 inches higher than the boardroom, and then it actually steps up.
Because we have to step up anyway.
My dad tells a story, not to get off track, but that was originally the old fire station. There's a ramp.
It was.
The old
There's-
fire truck had to
I
roll
didn't know
out
that.
and crank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's water connections in the floor.
Before y'all redid it, you could see where the old emblem was painted on the brick on the second floor
Wow.
for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So in that plan, all of the offices would be renovated.
Yes, sir.
Paint and new flooring throughout the entire building. Consistent paint, consistent floor, uniform, and get
That's
rid of
something-
all the paneling.
That's something we talked about a lot. It's saying, do you want to just make it look better, or do you want it to make it look nice? And you're going to spend a lot of money either way. And
But
ultimately,
that
we
didn't
said,
include
just do it.
furniture either, because that'd be the next step, right?
Sir,
Do what?
That didn't include any furniture, because that would be the
No.
next step.
no
Yeah.
furniture.
That would, it did not include furniture.
But at the end of the day, to do it right, let's take off the paneling.
Okay, so one thing I didn't
think so.
see,
Okay.
one thing I didn't see, we really don't have a reception area in City Hall.
Yeah, right.
Is that in that foyer in the front?
So
And-
go back to your drawing, Josh.
All right, let's.
No, that's my opinion. City Hall.
Oh, okay.
See it.
Gary, is there a need for that?
The old boardroom serves as that now. We have
Well, so what happens is, when we do have people that they come to see the mayor, or they come for interviews. When we have people come, this is one thing that I was telling Josh that we're faced with. When people come for interviews, we don't have anywhere for them to wait. We'll have people just lined up, waiting. What he has labeled here office, we call it the library. In this old, what the
You mean
mayor's
the
calling
room to the right of the foyer?
that's right here. That's right. That's when you walk into City Hall and you come through that door, there's a desk in there, and there's bookshelves with a lot of old, I can't remember the book, but there's a lot of books in there. So we call it the library, and we'll usually pull some chairs in there and just let people, we'll line them up right there, and we'll let people just sit right there when they're waiting for interviews. But there's not really like a place for somebody to wait if they're waiting to see the mayor, if they're waiting on their interviews, because we're usually doing interviews right here in this conference room. And so that was one thing I had mentioned to Josh, maybe possibly not taking quite so much space for the water department foyer and having some space right out here where you could put some furniture.
But you're apparently pointing and we can't see where you're pointing to.
Oh, you're right.
Because
You're
Josh
right. I
has,
forgot.
Yeah.
Josh is the one with, not me.
Yeah.
He's the one sharing. Yeah.
Reducing this wall and making this area a little bit
Like a waiting area for people.
restructured.
Mhm. And then if you have, then you've got an office right there. I mean, you do have,
all right. Do we need that conference room anymore?
yes, we use that
Yeah.
conference room all the time.
All the
Okay.
time.
All
Okay.
the time.
Okay.
Is that where the boardroom?
No boardroom. by my
Okay, okay.
Well,
use it
could you not
frequently.
use, can you not use the big boardroom for that same purpose?
We will use, they will both be in use at the same time.
More than you would think.
Mm-hmm. So to that point, I'm gonna make a plea for this renovation. That is why we need to do a renovation to City Hall. Our facilities get used by more than just us. We have all of our commissions meet here. We get requests from external agencies that want to hold meetings here at City Hall.
Yeah, South Delta, a lot of different ones call
It
and
happens
always
all the
get
time.
bids.
Charge them.
And so
They give us money.
it's, you know,
If they
for
hear 30
us,
minutes, they're taking bids on something.
I get told all the time, and it's said in department head meetings, it said frequently, city, and I tell our staff, you can ask Ashley, I tell our staff all the time, when they answer the phone, when they're in and out of this building with whatever they're doing through the day, City Hall is the face of the city. And, you know, I'm telling our staff that, and then yet our facilities aren't representing it. And so I just feel like we need to do something because we're the face of the city. And so you know, I know the money's got to be there, but I feel like it's time that we, if the grant funds come in so that we can budget for it, you know, I feel like we need to, put our best foot forward.
So if we free up that 400,000, so the first 292 would go to this, would be your recommendation.
It would be my recommendation.
I've never heard of it.
Our board meetings are live on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm looking there right now.
Well, I've never heard her make a play like this, and I believe in that girl more than anything in the world. I believe we need to look real hard at it.
Well, we all know that boardroom. We all know the boardroom is not suitable anymore. And if you're going to spend money on this, I mean, you know, it's just, I agree with Michelle. So many people come through this building.
Right. Right.
This is the first place when they come in Cleveland.
That's right.
And I do agree, if we have the grant money and we can free up that money for grant purposes, hey, let's make that a priority. Based on the fact that if we can have the funds to support the renovation that Michelle is pleading for.
Like y'all said, and I said, I mean, the money's got to be there first.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Hey, Josh, will you stop sharing? I'll go back to the.
We lose Abraham.
Ted had to leave as well.
All right. Josh, do you want to pick back up?
Arcade Alley, this has been the Mayor, now you might have to help me on which committee, but Miss Tab and her crews requested
City beautification.
city beautification. This is behind Arcade Alley. This is only the north 2 parking lots that the city owns. But paving the parking lots, restriping them, and putting new lights to light them up.
So how's,
Miss Tab, I said
my
that.
only concern with that is how are we going to encourage more use of that? Because
That's what I
then we
think
built
too.
the highway and
Well, I hate to bust their bubble, but we have tried everything in the world to get people to use that parking lot, and they will not use it.
they won't do it.
I think.
Well, go ahead, Josh.
Well-
We talked about it.
Part of the raise grant, I would include fixing that parking lot, include better signage and directional use to get into that parking lot and to get to downtown. And I think all of that could all be incorporated in the raise grant. Now, look, if we do get a raise grant, it's going to take 3 years before you'd ever see construction minimum. I want to make sure everybody understands these federal programs are long, slow deals, but I do think that would be eligible. And also, Michelle, what's the timeline on the electric charging?
Earliest next summer. So that definitely would need to be done first anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch anything in that parking lot until the charging's done, so they don't tear out our new pavement or something like that.
Okay, that will be a good way to go into that, is that we need to wait for that. And
Well, and then the other issue on the table is, you have a request before you, someone, the owner of the third lot wants to sell the lot to you.
so we'd have 3 empty lots.
You would have 3 empty lots.
Okay.
So I definitely would not do anything until, any of that could be considered, resolved, or whatever. So, but I think like Josh said, that parking lot, only certain things are eligible in that raise grant. And that parking lot would be eligible to be covered by the raise grant.
Yeah, so kind of the way these grant guys will put it is a parking lot is an eligible item, but you're not going to score high on a grant if all you say we're going to build a lot of parking lots around Cleveland. You score high by fixing problems. You have a problem with parking. You have a worse problem with directing the public of where to go, how to get from a parking. So selling that this is a parking lot that needs to be paved, it's $160,000, could be included, but you sell it as trying to fix, encouraging people to get there. And how do I know if I park there that I go to Arcade Alley, and all kind of cleaning up that whole little area, I think could be included. So
good.
Again, the question is, how will we entice people to go back there?
The only way it's going to do it is no parking anywhere else. And these other towns have learned to park 300 or 400 yards and walk to the store of their preference.
Get them to get back there.
Lighting.
The next 2 items are some requests so the lot adjacent to the municipal court building and then that parking lot. Those are not included in the bond.
Okay, so what if we use the 292? We still got 118,000 left over. Where does it go?
You want to? Josh and I have talked about some options, so let's.
I'm just saying, what's the next most important project? I see the police station renovation is still on there. We're still trying to make that police station more presentable.
Yeah. So they're upstairs. There were some issues that need to be resolved upstairs. And I would say that's probably.
Is that ADA compliant upstairs?
I'm sorry?
Is that upstairs ADA compliant?
I don't, you'll have to get
I would
Chief to
think so.
explain what their issues were, but there were some issues with the upstairs that need to be resolved. And so I would say that that would be one of the high priorities. And I would say if money is freed up from, where was the other money we were looking at, Josh?
That's the 165 for high school lift station.
That's right, for the lift station. If we free that money up right here from the bond, I would say.
Yeah, but we got to
possibly-
get that, but we got to get the bond down to $2 million.
Well,
think
we're already at 2. I haven't reallocated the 180,000 from Rosemary Road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess we could, just to recap, MDOT came up with more money on Rosemary Road initially before we started construction, and then the project came in under budget. It came in under the bid amount by, I don't have that number, 100,000 or so. So anyways, we're under 100 in the county. We need to send the county a request for their share soon.
So
You better start.
when Josh and I talked, we kind of thought the pipe camera, since they contract that out a good bit and they utilize that, that would be a good possibility.
We have talked about it. I'm not real sure exactly what the request is, but we have talked about buying a camera for
A couple of years at least.
I was going to say since 2014. I feel like we've had these discussions.
Like doing something.
How much money do we spend a year doing cameraing?
I'm not sure. I know we don't near.
I can get that for you.
We don't do enough. So right now,
I'm sure we do a lot more.
oh yeah, Thomas contracts out a lot to local plumbers that have push cameras.
I think he holds back. He doesn't contract, he doesn't utilize that as much as he would if he had his own camera.
And
Right.
Steve-O, hardly any right now, but that's not saying we shouldn't. We could find a ton of issues that we're jetting and we're saying, hey, we hit something 300 feet in. There's not a local plumber that has a camera that'll go 300 feet or that'll even go in these big drain lines that you can see. So I think we would use it a ton. I think we'd find a lot of drainage problems that are getting overlooked right now.
And so this request is, it's a sewer pipe camera, and then it's got like an attachment for storm drains. So it's a request from Thomas and Stephen.
How much is that?
Like
122,000.
That'd be worth find that problem before they hit you head up a whole lot.
We'll be able to find our own problem.
Mm-hmm. And our folks are very capable of using those too.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Okay. What else, Josh?
All right.
We don't have to cover all of these because obviously we can't do them all.
Well, and the rest of them are going to be department head requests, I think.
You want to do the two? I know I'd like to talk about the Bear Pen Boys parking lot.
Oh yeah, that's
And maybe the softball lighting too, but
that's right.
Softball lighting, we do have insurance money we got with Brian. As you know, several of these fields have big issues with the poles being rotten. Amesy Moore, Bear Pen Boys has some pole issues. These poles are old, and looking at upgrading them. Well, Bear Pen Girls poles are in good shape, but replacing all the lights to new LED, you have a lot of light issues. So we want to start phasing in all the field lighting is like $2.5 million, including pole replacement. But we want to start taking them kind of in order of high usage, number one, but also affordability. And Bear Pen Girls will be the first one up at 517,000. And Michelle, you're going to help me out on the money.
Well, we had 478,000 that we could take from the hailstorm claim, and then we had 39,000 that we already had in the bond.
And so we would be coming, if we could get this one started, upgraded to LED, we can look into grant programs and what's out there as well as we move forward, but we're going to have to be coming back and making plans to upgrade, kind of start going through the rest of the parks.
Okay.
The only other thing I have is Bearpin Boys parking lot. We are keeping all the asphalt millings this year, approximately 6,000 tons of asphalt or reclaimed asphalt. So that's roughly $200,000 for the material if we bought it. And that's what all of your parking lots have been built out of historically. So we're salvaging it from the asphalt job and we want to repurpose it, and we want to pay a contractor to go spread it and enlarge the parking lots at Bearpin Park Boys Complex and AMG Moore Park is our plan. And what we would do is use about half of it, and then we want to sell the rest. So we've been working with getting some prices of how we could sell it. We would have to sell it bulk to APAC. APAC will they'll reuse it in new asphalt is really your only big market. And so our goal is the total project cost is about 100 and shoot.
Was on that schedule because I think the recovery was like
142,000
yeah.
is our plan. And that includes putting wheel stops in the Bearpin Boys parking lot, just like we did the Bearpin Girls last year, this year. And so we'd like to 88,000 in the bond. The surplus material, we'd sell it back to APAC, presumably, to offset some of this cost.
This is your net cost.
That's your net.
Okay.
Now, on that, I need to, if the board feels comfortable that is the plan, we're actually stockpiling this today. I need to let someone start spreading this soon, or we're not going to have a parking lot at the boys complex that's not got piles of asphalt on it. So if this stays in, if everybody's comfortable, I'd like to go ahead and proceed with getting this lined up in the to start spreading this, in the matter of the next couple of weeks. It wouldn't have to get billed or anything until next fiscal year, but I'd like to start the work if the board's comfortable with it.
We need to vote on that right now then.
However y'all'd like to handle it.
Is Danny Griffith online with us?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead on and move on it.
Let me ask you a question, Josh.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard you said to sell the rest of the asphalt. Do we have any streets that can use that asphalt?
So the way this works, this is reclaimed. So it's like gravel at this point. They mill it up and it turns into, it looks like black gravel.
Right.
And
Right.
when you sell it to the asphalt plant, it's called reclaimed asphalt. They'll
Yes.
actually mix it back in new asphalt. So it'll
Right.
run back through the plant and they'll take like 10% or 15% wrap to supplement to save on aggregates. So no, you can't, you got to sell it back to a plant. A plant's got to use it to make it usable asphalt for the streets.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Just wondering.
It's decent material for parking lots, and it doesn't get cheaper when you get it for free. So it's a good time to use it when you have it.
Okay, we'll vote on it just to share with you. Robert, you made the motion.
I made the motion, yeah.
We have a second.
Second.
Gary, second. All in favor, say aye.
Nah.
You can't put it on the street, get the money for it.
All right, what else, Josh?
I think that is all. I think everything else on there is departmental request,
It is.
I believe. So I think that's all I have. Just kind of recapping now, make sure I didn't overlook anything. Unless y'all have anything for me.
Gary, any other questions from you?
No, sir.
Okay. Great report.
Well, I appreciate it. If y'all need anything else, I'll be around.
Thanks so much.
Thank y'all.
Right. All right. Anything before I let Thomas in?
No? And Danny Griffin looks too cool on that screen, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, see on the coast.
Well, there he is. Hey, Thomas.
Good afternoon. How are y'all?
Good.
Afternoon, Thomas.
How's class going?
It's a lot of information to take in.
Thomas,
Alright.
while we're on that subject, wait for the mayor to get back. How many weeks is it course? How long is it?
It's just 1 week. I take my test on Friday, this Friday.
Okay.
So would this cause you to be fully certified?
Yes, ma'am. Given that I passed, it takes a couple of
Oh, you
months
got it.
for them to get my
You
back
got
to me.
it. You
Yes,
got it.
ma'am.
I
I hope
have
so.
faith in you.
You're not supposed to
I
say
have
if I
faith in
pass.
you.
Your answer should have been when I pass. I'll be fully certified.
Yes, sir. I apologize. That's exactly right.
I have faith in you, Thomas.
Thank you.
Alright.
So great.
And that's in the court this week. This week. Okay.
So did he say how long it will take him before he give his results?
Just 2 weeks, maybe a week or two.
It'd be a couple of months before I get my results.
Maybe a couple of months. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Alright, are we still waiting on the mayor?
And Thomas, things worked out too over there. That situation we had, and I think it all panned out, and they told me everything was good.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Thomas, I got a call. Miss Mary is so happy. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
I heard it all in her voice.
I think a couple of people needed a break, Thomas. I'm sorry, we're waiting.
Oh no, it's fine. Like I said, there's a lot of information to digest in that class. I'm taking all the break I can get.
You're taking a break too, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, 'cause it's not specific to our operation that we have. I have to learn everybody else's operations also. So
Yeah, it's probably a textbook too, not an actual.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Where is it being held at?
We're at Mississippi State.
Oh, Mississippi State.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
It makes you marketable.
Hey, you made the mayor like turn around then.
Well, look, Thomas is the Ole Miss fan too, so I bet you he is.
Thomas feel like I would.
He's struggling.
I promise you, I wore my Ole Miss shirt and my Ole Miss belt while I'm here. So
I'm proud of you.
Absolutely.
I'll be there in God's
Get him
country
signed. It
in
makes him marketable that he's gonna be finished
September.
soon.
Okay.
We'll have to keep him. Can't lose
He's
him.
good. No.
All right. Right. So, y'all ready for me to get started?
Sure.
Yes.
Gary, did you have anything you wanted to
No,
know?
I mean, there were just a few things I think we wanted to ask Thomas.
It was, so one of the notes that I had was on the building and grounds requests for the, y'all were asking about the gates and, let's see. There's 4 items that were being requested: gates and the door repair. Nope, that's electrical. Sorry. Here we go. Influent gate quote, effluent door, And then there was one more, it's included with one of the effluent quotes. It was the, what had to be scraped and repainted? It was one of the,
That was Shelby lift station.
Shelby lift station, that's
Yes,
right.
ma'am. But Steve-O and his guys are gonna paint that. We scrubbed it already and pressure washed it. His guys are gonna paint it, so we don't have
Right,
to.
so I can decrease it by that amount.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That quote was still included in there. I can take that out. So that'll lower it by, I think that was about $4,000.
4,300. Yes, ma'am. I
Yep.
believe so.
All right, I'll pull that. So do y'all want to talk about the gate, the need for the gate and the panic, was it a panic door at the effluent?
So the effluent, the panic doors, is where we store our chlorine. It's also where you can go in and adjust any chlorine feed, sulfur dioxide feed that we use to treat the wastewater before it enters the Sunflower River. And right now you cannot shut it, you cannot lock it. The chlorine is eating all the hardware away. So anybody can just, if they were to hop the fence or go around the fence or whatnot, they can go in there and mess up all kind of stuff. Have free use of all that computer stuff we just had put in. So we're just wanting to get it to where we can secure that location so nobody can get in there without a key.
How much is that door?
It'll be for all the doors, not just
40?
one. Yeah, I think it's
4,700.
Yes, ma'am. That's keying all the doors, putting all new locks. Cleveland Lumber will come in and replace all the panic bars on 2 doors and then key everything else.
That chlorine will corrode everything.
Anything, yep.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Then what about the gates?
So the gates at the influence station is where everybody comes in that we allow to come in to dump all the waste, like all state. They go to these venues and whatnot and suck out all the waste from the porta johns and dump it out there. Right now we got a brand new gate. Everything's new down there. It's just got a lock on it with a key. And we've had to change that lock a couple of times. We put a camera down there to see who all is coming in that gate. So I don't know if somebody had a key made, if ex-employees had, keys made, extra keys. But we want to make it to where when you pull up, we have a sign down there that says to call the office, and Debbie or myself will be able to push a button to open the gate, and that's the only way anybody would be able to get in to our lagoons. It's not just another security measure to keep people from going in.
So it's to keep people from dumping without
paying or
without notifying y'all.
Yes, but there's also a building down there that has an extensive amount of computers in it that run the pumps that can be adjusted if anybody went down there, if anybody had the knowledge to do it, but it could be vandalized pretty easily. We have brand new gates. We have a new fence down there. The only way to get in is through that gate. But if you had a key made, or if you cut the lock, you could get access to it. This is just an extra precaution to, deter people from going in.
Did you say that there was a camera down there?
Yes, ma'am. We did have a camera installed that I can actually look on my phone. So if anybody called and say, hey, I need access to it, we can look and see who it is exactly, and say, hey, you haven't paid, or, you're not a vendor. You haven't, gone through the steps to be allowed to dump out here. That way we can know who it is before we open the gate. But yes, there is a camera out there.
Any more questions on the building and grounds before?
No, it's good.
I think another question that was asked when we went through was on the water meters, the water and flow meters.
Mm-hmm.
There was a a requested increase for 6,000 because of new construction and wanting to have ample inventory of meters, you know, to be ready. I think a
Yes,
question
ma'am.
was asked was like, how many do you keep in inventory? How many do you have and how many do you keep on hand?
We don't really we don't stock a whole lot on hand. It's pretty easy to get the 1 inch and 3/4 meters. We don't really keep an abundance of those. I think maybe we have 5 to 6 down there right now. It's fairly easy to get a hold of those smaller meters. Just the larger meters cost a lot more. Like the Head Start had 2 meters put in. I think just those 2 meters was almost $7,000.
I thought there was one big item on his.
It's $100,000.
It
Yeah,
was,
there was a big item
it was
somewhere.
it was contracted
That's it right there.
services.
Yeah, that's what it was. The contracted services. Explain that.
So I did talk with Michelle about this, but I did not get beforehand all the quotes needed to bring to y'all to justify that. We do have a lot of projects we want to do. I did talk with Michelle, and we're going to kind of do one project at a time, like new sewer line and manhole repair on Fayette Davis. There's new sewer lines that need to be laid off of Bishop right there at Terrace. We had they come down to demo the camera for us. We went through a couple of that line and the one on Bishop and noticed some pretty big discrepancies on the way the sewer line is, the condition of it. So we're wanting to repair a lot of that stuff.
And all of that's in contracted services?
It is.
Okay.
When they,
I thought it was, I don't know why I thought you said it was something else that he was trying to do there. I don't know why.
yeah, that was like his pump repairs and
Right.
water mains and sewer lines. So how much do you think you would need, since we talked about, how much do you think you would need this year?
Additionally to what I've already received the previous year, I know one project would be 17,000. I think is what they quoted us to repair the manhole on Fayette Davis. Memorial Drive lift station, one of those pumps needs to be repaired. I think it's $1,500 to take it out, and then got to send it to Jackson. I think that's an additional 10 to 12,000 for it.
I thought that was one of the.
We have Memorial Drive lift station. Yeah.
We're fixing to redo that whole station.
Yeah, we're gonna redo Memorial Drive lift station.
So, okay. Well, me and Josh were talking about it, and we didn't know. I told him high school lift station would be
both. Yeah, both of them are on the list.
Okay. So the 150 I got this year plus 25,000 more to repair those Fayette Davis.
Okay. And then I still think maybe, like we talked about, get a plan.
Yes, ma'am.
For any aging infrastructure that you need, maybe, you know, for next year,
ma'am.
Would be helpful.
I can do that.
What about that lights and heat, Michelle, the 20,000?
That's just utilities. But you know what? Thomas, this is based on your current usage, but we anticipate that to go down.
Yes, with the repairs,
with the changes that were made.
Yeah.
So I think I might drop that back down some.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're hoping that what we did on repairing those 2 valves would drop it 20, 30,000 a year.
All right, I'm gonna drop it back down to 240. And we'll see where it comes out. Maybe with those changes that y'all made, we won't see the same usage.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said your travel and schools and training was for you and Raheem both. You were budgeted
Yes,
for that, right?
yes, because in October he goes for his license. He will be traveling to when he passes his to get his license, he will be traveling to keep his hours, just like I will be.
Electrical repairs was for the breaker box in the shop, breaker panel in the shop.
Yes, ma'am.
I think those were the only, oh, equipment and machinery. Do you want to speak to that? The Mahindra UTV, Canada,
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. The UTV we have now is fairly old. We have just in the spray field by itself is a little over 430 acres. That the guys have to go out and whenever one of the heads stop up, they have to go out and clean it. They don't drive the trucks out there. They drive that little UTV out there, and it's kind of left a couple of us on the side of the road, I guess you could say. We'll have to walk back to the shop, which is, in 100-degree weather, walking across 400 acres is not ideal. They also had to get on the road and drive down the road to Lagoons 1 and 2 when we weed eat and do maintenance on that area. So if it broke down over there, they'd have to walk back or have to call somebody to come out of the field to go and assist them. So I found a used one that only has like 40 something hours, I believe, which is only a couple of days of riding on it. A new one is roughly $10,000 more than that one. Basically, we're just wanting to make it to where we have a peace of mind that if we take one of these machines out, we won't be left on the side of the road.
Sense.
the ice machine. Do y'all have an ice machine now, or that y'all are replacing, or y'all just want to put one in?
No, man, we have one now that we're replacing. We've had quite a bit of work done to ours. The guy said it's 13 years old. It's just, we can replace one thing, but it's gonna mess up again. And he's trying to get it to where we can use it right now until we get a new one. But he says it's just a matter of time until the whole thing goes out. And it's really just the top part. We're not getting the bend. We're just replacing the top part of the ice maker.
All right. Any more questions for Thomas?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. All right, Thomas. Study hard.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you,
Appreciate it,
Thomas.
Thomas.
You. All right. Anything y'all want me to reduce or change or based on that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, how much was he over? I was trying to remember.
Well, let me go back.
300 and some change, 322 originally.
Let's see. Let me put my screen back up so y'all can see it.
And we just got back, 130 or so, at least.
Yeah.
This is why I don't like this software. You can't see the big picture.
All right. So the impact to his budget this year, actually, which is so weird, right? It's a decrease to the budget, 188. Last year was an increase of 478. I'm sorry, that's sewer utility fund overall. I'm gonna look at just him. Wastewater. He actually went down from last year.
Well, but what we were trying to do was figure out what we were going to have to raise rates to cover his shortage.
Well, and it's hard to,
Now, I know you can't cover that, but
yeah, I was just looking at what I changed in his budget. I was looking at what it did to that.
why did 300,000 stick in my head?
I don't know.
When we looked at revenue versus expenditures, was it not a $300,000 deficit for the current year?
Yes.
Wasn't it, Brian?
I thought it
Yes.
was
322, I believe.
Yeah. When you showed it to us today, there was a $300,000 more expenses than there was income. Look, go to your dashboard.
Well, the dashboard is the entire fund.
Okay, but I thought it showed the deficit for the current year.
It does, but it's for the entire fund.
No. That's the fund balance. The deficit for the current year is 188,000 now.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 3.
Earlier
that's what
today,
you're-
that was.
But that's for every department. That's the water department, wastewater, and public works administration.
Okay, I know, but that was what we were saying is the rate increase. We had to at least make up the difference.
I'm with you now.
Okay.
I thought you were, I was trying to figure out.
Earlier
how to
this
see.
morning, that number was 300,000.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So if we
I
do a
thought I
rate,
was-
if we do a rate increase at a minimum, we have to absorb that loss.
Yeah, but we've still got to look at the water department and public works administration. There might be some money to recover there.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to look at. I was trying to look at just wastewater.
Got it.
And I thought you were saying that was just wastewater.
No,
That's
ma'am.
where I was lost.
That's okay. I get lost sometimes too.
I've been looking at these numbers for a while. All right, let me get Anna.
Are we on schedule?
We are. Anna's supposed to be at 2:30. Get her budget up.
Hey,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
Huh?
All right.
Before we go any further, how's Alan doing?
He's really good. He really is. He's still a little slow, but he's been to Memphis a few times and he's okay.
Good.
That's great.
Praise the Lord.
Yep. All right. So Anna's budget.
I thought her budget was okay.
It is okay.
She had a couple wishless items, that's all.
We did knock down your request for train engineers a little bit, and the conversation was you didn't use what was budgeted last year. So we just thought if more is needed, we'll just do a budget amendment.
Okay, so I called Michelle this morning. The American Cruise Line, I don't believe is coming anymore in 24. Well, they have one more time, but that's it. But I literally got at about 12:30 today, a list of when they're coming in 25, from February the 27th. And I stopped in I stopped at September 31st just because that's our year. It's 41 times.
Oh, so they're a long way from not coming. They really come.
That, well, now they say they are.
Well,
That's great news.
This changed from 6:33 this morning to about 12:30 today. But so,
wow.
typically when we have a boat come in, I have 4 people work. And I added that up times 49 boats is 22,000. And the thing is, that is 12 Sundays and 13 Mondays, which is basically half of the time, which Sunday and Monday are days we're not open anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so
Nobody's
you're
saying
having to
anything.
pay for days. You have to pay for days that typically you're closed.
That we're not open at all. Actually, half the days that they're coming are days we're not open. Now, I will not work every Sunday because, like, for one of them is Easter Sunday, one of them is Mother's Day, one is Memorial Weekend, and one is well, no, that's a Monday. Labor Day.
Well, that's understandable, and I think they will be understandable about
Oh, yes, sir.
that as well.
But my point is, I mean, even if you take out 5 days, we're making $450 every time the boat comes, and it's costing us about $450 per the guys that work.
Okay, so when you did it, Michelle, did we decrease our revenue?
We had not done that yet. Because we didn't make these changes based on that conversation.
Yeah, we thought you were going to be cutting back, Anna. And we also looked
So
at
did
last
I.
year's, we also looked at the budget to this date, and you haven't spent what is budgeted.
And you did have the boat coming. So that's, the boat came this year.
That's
So-
right, but only okay, I added that up too. It's only been here 15 times.
Oh, okay.
So 49 and 15,
Yeah.
A lot of difference.
big difference.
Yeah, but you still have $15,000 left in your budget that you haven't used. So,
Okay.
but I mean, we can put it back in there if we need to
Well,
put it
and
back
it's
in.
only 2 more months of paying my guys, which these next 2 months should be about normal.
Yeah, but I've projected for that. What I'm saying,
Anyway.
yes, I've projected
Okay.
through the end of the year.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
And that's counting more boats coming. So I've projected like you to use $60,000 by the end of the year. That's counting boats coming.
Okay.
So you probably won't spend 60.
Okay. Yeah,
And
there's only one more.
Yeah, and here's the deal. If it changes, you just come back to us and we'll make a budget amendment. Because if your labor goes up, your income's going to go up too. So it's just going to be a bookkeeping entry.
Right. Okay. That's good for me. I figured all this up this morning, and then I got the other schedule. So about what I did this morning's irrelevant. We're making I figured it up. I went through every day that the boat has been here, to see about how much we're making per day when they're here, and we're making about $180 a day that they're here.
That's great.
On average.
Mm-hmm.
On the I think somebody was asking on the penny press.
Yeah, explain what you're going to do with the penny press.
And location.
Actually, I think I want to put it up front where we have our what used to be like our donation box. We don't use that anymore, and so I think I do it just right at the front door. I have not heard back from them yet. So, I mean, I have heard back from them, but then I haven't heard back from them again. So I'm just not 100% on that.
Are you asking for 2 machines?
I'm not.
Well, it says $3,850, but you put in a budget request of $7,500.
Because that would be what like all of our, the equipment, like if we get a new train or anything like that.
Gotcha. Okay,
Those
that
are
just
the-
wasn't in the note, so I didn't know.
Oh, I just put the penny press in the notes. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
that, I think what I did was just what we had last year, added the amount of the money of the penny press to it.
Okay. I'm gonna put that on here.
So are you still pursuing the penny press?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
The one penny press.
So how often do you buy new trains, Anna?
Whenever
Every
I
year they
can.
buy something.
There's a lot of museums.
No, well, right
She
now,
can get
actually,
it.
like
We
one
can
thing
be
we need
a
right
symbol of
now is we
Cleveland.
need the new controllers, like the new remotes for them,
I
to
got you.
run the
Where you
train.
can say the train station over there.
Hey, you know, one time we talked about the fact that a lot of your engineers are getting pretty old. Have you started thinking about training some new people?
I had one guy that I talked to, but a big problem is the amount of time. You know, people want to be guaranteed X number of hours a week, and I just a lot of times, I mean, I can, but not what they're wanting. The guy that I talked to was wanting more time.
I wonder if we kind of put the
Get some
word out to some of
volunteers.
some retired guys that just want to work a couple of days a week.
I sure would love some extra, because Mr. John is, I believe, John Wolf is going to leave at the end of this month. He'd leave right now if I let him. I just had begged him to not.
You telling me, Kate?
I know, I pretty much have.
How's Mr. Atkinson hanging in there?
Just by the skin of his teeth.
Okay.
He's been out the past 2 weeks. He had to have surgery.
Surgery, right?
Yes, sir.
My former school counselor, so he's gonna hang tough.
No,
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah. Just give him a tennis racket and he'll stay around.
That's
I
right.
know.
That was pretty much it. I think she requested an increase to building and grounds repair. She's planning on doing some maintenance to the building, like she wants to pressure wash the building twice a year just for upkeep, and some stuff to the bathroom, I think.
The outside needs not, I mean, not like everything needs to be done, but it needs a little bit of work.
Just some TLC.
Yeah.
For sure.
Those were pretty much it.
Yeah, people that can do that. Pressure washer.
Well.
Oh, yeah.
Anna,
we
anything
can't
you
get,
want
we can't even pull all
to share
week.
with us?
I think I'm good. I mean, the only thing I would say is does my revenue stay the same?
We don't usually, let's see. Let me look and see what was budgeted last year. Last year we had 5,000 for donations, 20,000 for gift shop sales. So gift shop sales were down this year. So last year we budgeted 20,000 for gift shop sales, and you're projected to have 13 this year. So I did revise your revenues for your budgeted revenues to 15.
Okay.
And then other revenues.
So where's the boat money? Where's the boat money show up?
Other revenues. It was budgeted at 15.5, and I did a projected number at 15.5 because of the boat. And so I left that at 15.5.
Yeah, if they do what they say they're gonna do, it just who knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they so predictable.
Right.
You revisit it.
Wear me out. Yeah, well no, I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Y'all have
that looks
anything
good
else
to
for
y'all.
Anna?
You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Billy.
All right.
All
Appreciate
right, we good?
Thanks, Anna.
Yeah, thanks, Anna.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Anna.
thank you. Y'all have a good day.
You
You too.
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 I need to be a conductor. Come on, you can.
We do, she does a lot of events down there.
He
Whole
does.
lot.
You know, she doesn't make a ton of money on those events, but she creates a lot of interest,
Right.
and it
She
makes
does- I
people
mean-
go back.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, she really doesn't make any money off the events because they're all free. But what she generates from that is interest. So people will make donations, people will buy something from the gift shop, but then it generates interest. And then it might make somebody say, hey, I want to have a birthday party here. And then she can make stuff from that. It just
Right.
generates interest.
Sure.
And then that can turn into gift shop sales or other events. So anyway. We got about 10 minutes till and Dudley is next.
Who?
Dudley.
Well, see if he's ready.
All right.
While you're waiting on him,
Sure.
can we look at how general fund ended up, how it's going to end up?
Sure. That's right here in the projected. So this is the net impact just for the fiscal year, not the fund balance. All
Okay,
right?
so this year we're going to end up 432,000 to the good.
That's right.
You know, and the reason I point that out, we actually budgeted a little deficit last year,
We did.
and we're 400,000 ahead, and so
Right.
that sometimes it's kind of deceiving when
It
we
is.
approve these budgets, because you know we know we're going to approve a deficit sometimes as long as we have a positive fund balance, but actually I think these department heads do a good job, and they don't ever spend as much as they think they are.
And a lot of times at budget, they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I might need this, I might need that, and then they don't spend everything.
That's right.
And then also our revenues, normally, we budget conservatively on
Sure.
revenues, and we, I guess, budget conservatively on expenses. We plan to spend more and receive less. So we budget conservatively. And then we come out better off. As well, we should budget conservatively. But that's why it looks like this, but usually we come out like this. If that makes sense.
I need to try that on my wife.
Good luck.
Gary, won't work. You can forget that. Try something else. That's from a lady's standpoint.
Now you're talking too much, Zena.
Just saying.
You're
I'm just trying to help you out. Look, I don't want you to be disappointed.
I hope my wife ain't on YouTube.
I just don't want you to be disappointed.
Oh, Lord. All right. Dudley, you with us?
Becky can tell you that.
I am. Can you hear me?
She's
We
fancy
can.
dancing now.
Oh yeah, she's.
Can't see you though.
I don't know why you can't see me.
Cut your,
Can hear you for
cut your
sure.
camera on. All right, let's see. Where were we on?
You know, with all this technology, Chief, we have to make sure it's you.
Oh, it's me. I promise you. You can't tell by my voice.
Oh yeah.
Looking at the police department. So there is one thing that I wanted to bring up while we're on here, Dudley. I know you and I talked about it on your schools and training.
Yes, ma'am.
You had said that you wanted to request 40,000
Correct.
because of the delay in reimbursements.
Correct.
So I think this current fiscal year we're in, we budgeted 28,160.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, and you're anticipated or projected to spend 20,000 by the end of the year. So if we budget 40,000, that's an $11,000, almost $12,000 increase over last year. And even though you won't technically spend it because of reimbursements, I know you're concerned about timing of reimbursements, like if somebody goes to the academy like at the end of the year. But at the end of the year, we do like a mass budget amendment. So if there's a reimbursement outstanding at the end of the year, we could do a budget amendment to fix that.
Okay.
Rather than budget for some unknown, because you really don't need that money. You don't ever spend over 20,000.
Yeah, his budget only went up $10,000, but in actuality, it went up 18,000 because he's not going to spend what he had budgeted.
Right. Well, yeah.
Dudley, what she's trying to tell you is if you end up spending 40, we'll make an amendment for it, but we want to reduce it right now.
Right.
Okay. I understand that, and I get that.
Yeah, I mean, if you spend 30,000 and we got 2 months left at the end of the year, and you say you got 2 more programs you want to have, just let Michelle know, and we'll amend the budget.
Okay.
We certainly appreciate you ramping up training.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, and because the thing about it is, the way it works is, he gets reimbursed for the officers that go to the academy.
Right.
And his concern is that there will be a timing delay.
Yeah.
In his reimbursement.
We'll cover the timing delay.
Right. So do you want me to put it at the 28 that it was last year, or to put it at 20, 25?
Just put it at 30. Just put it at 30.
Okay.
20. Yeah.
And if you see yourself going over it, just let us know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there some wiggle room?
Computer program maintenance, they have a lot of technology. Like they have all kinds of technology, and this is just their maintenance agreements. I can run through those with y'all, but
okay. Now, Dudley and I talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and there's a lot of grant programs out there that will pay for this technology. If he gets lucky and gets some of those grant programs, that number can go away completely.
Okay.
And we're doing that as we speak. We're waiting for the next physical for 2025 to see what kind of grants they're going to put out for that.
Who are we getting to help us with the grants?
Well, actually, what happened was I found this. It's called a COPS department, and we had 5 cities in Mississippi that got collectively over $2 million
Mhm.
in grants. And all you got to do, they're out there. You just got to apply for them. We just didn't know they were there.
So
Doug, there's a need of someone you got within the department or someone the city has to look at that to keep abreast of it, making sure that it doesn't get biased?
So the training and accreditation officer, that's
Yes, sir.
part of his job duties.
Oh,
And I've
okay.
already sent him to grant writing class to help him get the knowledge of how to write the grants.
Okay.
You increased your uniforms budget by $5,000. I don't remember what that was for,
Because the prices have went up.
just the increase in prices.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. He's got more people too.
He does.
I mean, just the pants alone are like $100.
The building and ground repair, I put the awning in that line item. That's the awning at the back door.
Okay.
This vehicle leases, this is his current leases, and I forgot to pull that up. for
What
you.
is that? Equipment and machinery. That's a decrease. Never mind.
Right, and
Okay.
there was something budgeted in the
Okay.
prior year
That's
and
fine.
nothing the current year. That's all he has. I can pull up. Now, there's nothing figured for fiscal year 25 vehicle purchases as far as increasing the lease.
We're gonna work diligently on that ARPA money and try to make sure that we don't miss out this time. That's gonna be one of those projects we talked about, Michelle, and getting it up and operating at the beginning of the phase. So we're gonna include that.
Okay. Anything else on police department?
Am I looking at this right, or this is something that, like it says here, it was an increase in jail expenses? You requesting increase in jail expenses?
For this coming up year?
Yes, sir.
No, sir, I'm keeping it the same as last
Now
year.
that actually comes out of municipal court.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
We can go
Well,
to
is there
municipal.
anything else that we may have missed? And because I want to make sure you continue. The job is being done, and we want to make sure we continue to enhance it.
As far as right now, I mean, everything, knock on wood, everything's going good for us. And
Dudley, do you want to talk about the upstairs renovation that's needed?
Okay, so the upstairs, the previous work that was done, it was the front lobby, the outside of the building. So when you come up into the building, it's nice. But when we take the public to the back, it really made the back look worse than what we always thought it looked. So basically it's not sheetrock, but the other type of material, repairs, painting, and new flooring. And then our dispatch room is so cramped that
Yeah, that's right.
I've got them to come in, and I would like to take the east wall out and make that room about 4 foot wider to give that room more, because between the filing cabinets and all the radios, and honestly, we need a real cleaning in that room, because there's stuff that's in that room that was put in here when the police department first came over. It just needs a big cleaning and more, just needs to be uniformed.
More
Instead of
organized.
wires hanging everywhere and stuff like that.
This upstairs or this downstairs building that you're talking about?
It's the
It's-
ground level, but it's considered upstairs because their downstairs is their basement.
Okay.
It's all upstairs.
Yeah.
So the only time the public goes downstairs is when they're dealing with that investigator directly. Everybody else stays upstairs, and the downstairs is in pretty good shape.
And I had a chance to tour, and I know exactly what Doug was saying too, Mayor, and I totally agree with him. He needs everything he's asking for, and I totally agree with you, Chief. I will have a chance to go in there.
Dudley, let me ask a question.
Yes,
So at one time we started trying to address social media a little bit more. So do you have somebody in your office that does that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Because you know, anything you can put out positive information is good for everybody in this town.
Oh, yes, sir.
Good job at it too.
You know, like particularly like those policemen that saved that woman's life.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
People need to know about that. That was pretty special.
Yeah.
Right.
You're 100% correct. So everything has to go through me. There's a guy that does that. That also falls under our training and accreditation officer. So he monitors all that. He has access to it, but nothing gets posted without my okay.
Okay.
Dudley, this has nothing to do with budget. You lost 4 officers this year?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
What happened? Because we thought you were fully staffed.
I was. I had one guy that wanted to go into the private sector. He went to work for a construction company as a safety coordinator, and he moved to Indiana. I had one guy that he wanted to go to work at the schools. He was having a hard time here adjusting from there's a difference between a sheriff's department, the way they work in a police department, and he was having a hard time adjusting. So he could not adjust to what we were wanting him to do. And the other two, I'm a department without sin, and they saw the writing on the wall and they decided to leave before something happened.
You got any prospects?
I've looked at our applications, and I've contacted some folks around the state to see if there's some other applicants out there, but I will start that probably within the next week or so.
So now that we know that those are some issues, we just may have to vet the next one a little more strenuous, huh?
Correct.
Well, the overall morale seems to be extremely good.
Yes.
Yes.
Very proud of the work you've done.
You get a lot of great comments throughout the community too, Dudley.
Thank you, sir.
Dudley, has there been any changes to our operating procedures? I know we accredit the police department. Has there been anything as we go toward accreditation? Has anything changed?
No, sir. We just passed accreditation. Matter of fact, we were supposed to have it in September, and they sent their crew in. Matter of fact, they did a on-site deal through the computer, and they passed us without even coming to us. And then they used our model back in June. When they had their conference at the same time as the chief conference, They used our model to teach other agencies.
That's wonderful. Tell them you'll send them an invoice later.
I will.
And see, Dudley, those are things that we need to post, that the public needs to know.
Yes, that's very right. Good.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Chief. I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good job, Devin. Good job.
What about, do we need to talk to Dudley about cars?
Yes, I don't know how many he's, because there's nothing, I don't have anything in the budget for cars.
Okay. So what's your need, Chief?
Hold on a second. So Michelle, the quotes are not in there, or how many I'm asking?
I didn't see them. Where did you put them?
I thought I put them under the vehicle leases.
Oh, that's on too.
Did you change the amount on the vehicle leases?
We thought that was
This
last.
what you talk about, the four police, the Durangos, Dudley?
Yes, ma'am. It's 4 Durangos and 1 Tahoe.
Mm-hmm. I see it.
Yeah, I don't see them as attachments on here.
Where is his budget request?
Right here.
Oh, he puts that in there himself?
No, well, I would have adjusted
see
this
it.
number to match our current lease.
So
It is
is that 78,000 or whatever that number is? Is that our current leases?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because see, this fiscal year, it was 79,233.
Okay, so you want to get with Dudley between now and tomorrow and update those numbers?
Well, I can, but I need to know. I mean, I need to know from y'all. I don't ever. So just to be clear, I don't ever on a budget. I don't ever put in on vehicles like leases until I find out from y'all what you want to do.
Okay, well, we don't know what we want to do
Well,
until we know how much.
Saying. No, that's what I'm saying. I need to know how many vehicles. And then I'm going to have to figure out, I'm going to have to look up like some rates, like bank rates, and find out, get an estimate on lease payments. And I can have it in here for tomorrow.
I can tell you, I'm having trouble. I've got 4 2019 Dodge Durangos. That's each one of them's got 150,000 miles on them each. We're starting to have a lot of problems out of them. So I'm asking for them 4 to be replaced. And then the one I'm driving will go into this as a supervisor's car, and then I need a vehicle. Because the vehicle that I was driving, I put back into investigations.
So you're asking, would that be another Durango?
It'd be a Tahoe. It'd be four Durangos and 1 Tahoe.
Dudley, did you get any prices on those?
Yes, sir. So so one quote from Kirk on a 20, because they asked me, because they've got a surplus of 2024 Durangos, and they still have well over 100, I believe 100 on the lot over there. Each vehicle is $40,568. And the Tahoe is 53,000.
That doesn't include all the outfitting that you need for those either, though, right?
That does not including the outfitting.
If it's for the Chief, I don't think you gonna get them. You don't need an outfit in yours, do you?
Well, it will have inside lights, no striping.
Okay.
No striping or anything like that.
Right.
They all get, upfit.
How long have we been financing those, Michelle?
Oh, several years.
No,
It's
how
been-
many years do we
Oh,
normally
how
do a
long?
Do we finance?
four or 5 years?
4 years. Been doing
Okay.
4. Let me pull up the lease schedule real quick and see what we've got.
Dudley, what does it cost? What does it cost to retrofit them for the lights?
Hold on 1 second and I'll give you that information.
It's upwards of $10,000, isn't it?
I was gonna say somewhere around 7 or 8,000, maybe 10.
The leaf for Tahoe.
The upfit.
It's not in the fleet, it's the chief, I guess. Chief's vehicle.
There you go.
So
Just for point of reference, in 19, we did the Durangos, they were at 3%, so I'd imagine probably double that by now.
So one vehicle. So the vehicle that I'm driving now needs a striping package on it. That estimate is that quote is $489.
that's the one when we pass down to the supervisor, right?
Yes, sir. The outfitting of the what's that? The other cars, the 4 patrol Durangos, outfitting all of them is $35,843.21.
And 489 and 489 for yours?
Yes, sir. The one I'm driving now.
It's striping.
It's just the sticker, the Cleveland Police Department.
Gotcha.
And the one that if I'm blessed enough to get one for me,
You got to have the internal lights, right?
the Tahoe to outfit it is $5,898.20.
That's your 58, right?
Dudley, can you email all those to me?
Yes, ma'am. I'll have them here to you in a second.
Thank you.
Brian, what kind of rate can we get on new vehicles? You know anymore?
You're supposed to just know all this, Brian. Once a banker,
I'd
always
imagine-
a banker.
Well, I understand that. They're going to charge you a discount because they don't have to pay tax on it, but it's still probably going to be.
I can tell you what we got last year.
Just give me a ballpark interest rate.
5.5%, 6%.
So the total he came up with was 257,000.
Last year, I think we had 226.
And you said we did it over 4 years.
We did.
That'd be an annual payment of 73,320.
What was that total again?
I came up with 257,502. And if it's 5.5 is right. Dudley, can those vehicles last 5 years?
Yes. So I will
What'd
say
you come up with
this.
annually? About 70?
So the 2019 Tahoes that y'all see on the streets today, I call them grocery getters. Okay. anybody can go and buy that vehicle. All right, they're not police package. The two new ones and the one I'm driving, they're the police package. So they're beefed up. They got bigger brakes on them. They got bigger rotors. Everything is beefed up for law enforcement.
But then the interior's kind of stripped down too, right?
Correct. Vinyl seats, rubber floor mats. They've got, you know, we had problems. The 2019 had the gear shift in the console, like the police package has the gear shift on the column. So, and another thing I've done is our cars were running 24/7. Okay, so I'll split our cars, and I've got the shift that's working today, right now. They drive the same cars as to the shift that's coming on at 6 p.m. So tomorrow, them two shifts won't. They're on days off. Them cars get parked for 2 days, and then the other cars get ran. Does that make sense? So two shifts runs the same cars and two shifts. So there's
you're gonna make them last longer, is what you're saying.
right.
Right.
Dudley, why would you want to go with the Durango versus something else?
Sir?
Just out of curiosity, why would you want to buy a Durango instead of like a Charger? Or
well, you got a lot of big guys in there too, Brian. Some of those guys with all the equipment that they got around them, and they need all the space they can get.
That's when they went to the Durangos, and also because of arrestees.
And another thing, you can't get nothing else. I can get Chargers.
Right.
They small.
You know, or you can buy trucks, but we don't. I don't need trucks patrolling the streets. There's a very limited of make and model cars. You know, you can buy the Ford Explorer. They're cheap. They're more than the Durangos. There's no more Crown Vics. There's Chevrolet does not have a police package car. Right. We're limited on what's out there.
I got you.
Michelle, if we did all of them and we did it over 5 years, it would be just a hair over 60,000 a year on a 5.5% lease. It's 60,300 actually.
I'm going to share my lease schedule with you and show you where we are with what we've got in obligations.
So does this have to be included with the bond?
We can't bond.
No, we can't do that. You gotta have a 10-year life.
That's what I need to know.
Dudley, the way you're running them, how many miles you putting them on them a year now?
So, you know, that all depends on the officer.
30,000.
Okay.
Some may do a little more other than others.
Yes.
Right.
He's got a very.
So the two new Durangos that's on patrol right now. I've got one Durango that's got, it's got over 14,000 on it now.
Okay.
14,000 miles. I got another Durango that's only, and this at the time I took the mileage down at 7,000.
Okay.
So it all depends. You know,
these are new ones, right?
This is his fleet, and that's the mileage on his fleet.
Good.
See it.
You got a bunch over 180,000, 200,000.
So those older Tahoes, yeah.
One thing you don't want a flooded vehicle trying to come to your help. I mean, to help you aid you. It barely can, get to you. So, that's one of the problems after a period of time. Those vehicles barely move.
Dudley, these vehicles that we're showing as out of service, do you still have them? Dudley,
I'm looking at it
okay.
on the screen. So the 2000.
This one's totaled in an accident.
Right.
That 2014 Taurus, and he does not have it.
Why do we still have it on the books?
Well, this report was done prior to y'all releasing it out of our inventory.
Okay.
So all the ones that's out of service, they're sitting up there at Public Works. The Chevrolet Tahoe, it's got some front end work that needs to be done. It has been ordered. The parts have been ordered for over a year. We can't get the parts in.
All I'm trying to figure out is, can we, any of these, can we trade them in or sell them?
You get very little for them.
So like this one has been removed from inventory. This one's been removed. And this one's been removed. This report was before that.
So Michelle, the 2013 Ford, that's
everybody bought it.
that's total too.
Right, but we have not disposed of it.
Correct.
These are the only three that we have had board action on.
Right.
This one will be disposed of in September. Y'all will take action on that one.
Now, you know, we can sell that Chevrolet Tahoe that's out of service. You know,
So,
I don't know what.
Is it sitting at Public Works?
Yes, ma'am.
So a lot of times, I mean, like when we have an auction, I mean, you could sell it in the auction and you can put that on your inventory that you want to dispose of it in the auction. We can go on and take it off
Okay.
of the books, off of your inventory.
Okay.
Okay, at least we got something to talk about now. How much, that 78,000, is that the last payment?
Is that what do you mean? Is that the last payment?
Is that the last lease payment?
For police department?
Yeah, how many more years do we have on that $78,000 lease?
Well, it is, they have more than one lease, multiple years.
I got you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what's.
Yes, I do know. So we have a lease schedule here.
I figured you knew.
So this is the obligation on all funds combined. Do you want to wait? Do you want to talk about this when we let Dudley go, or?
Well, I mean, while we got him here, I just want to look at police.
Now this is all.
Oh, okay. I got you.
All leases.
All leases. Okay.
Yeah, but we can look here and see, like, so this particular lease that was in December 23, it was multiple vehicles in that lease. I think 3 or 4 for the police department, 1 for community development, and 1 for animal shelter.
Gotcha.
Should have been. I received 3 last year.
All right, and then in 2022, it was wastewater, 1 for wastewater, 1 for airport, 1 for community development. How many did you get that year, Dudley? I mean, I can pull up the detail, but if you know.
You know, I don't know.
That was Buster, wasn't it?
That was Buster.
I can pull it up.
I got a feeling 22, that would probably be the 4 Chargers that we got.
It was going to be 3 or 4 right there. That's wastewater. And that is 1 Dodge Durango right there. And then that lease is paid in full. So you see you have, like, this one will drop off. The Dodge Durango will drop off in 2025. So that payment will be settled. And then this one will be 2026. It's kind of like the bond schedule, Gary.
Yeah. Okay.
If that
How would it
helps.
be ringing on that?
I have no idea unless he got a program to his phone.
Yeah.
So in 2023, we got an interest rate of 5.95. The the lease was a little bit lower than what we're looking at for next year. This is a full year right here of payments. So it's a little bit lower than what you were talking about, but it gives you an idea of the obligation.
Okay.
And then you can see here what the obligation is on the general fund for 25 as far as total payments on the general fund. Not just to that one department, but just what is the general fund at all.
Right. All right. Okay. But I mean, you can identify how much is police department.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Dudley, before we get through, we'll figure this out.
Okay. Anything will be greatly appreciated.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. It don't matter what time of the day I get up, I see police cars on the street, and there's nothing better than presence.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Correct.
All right.
And Michelle, you should have everything. I've got one more email to send you with the Kirk auto quote, and that's it.
Thank you, Dudley.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
You too. All right. Do you want me to try to get anyone else, or do you want to discuss some of what we've talked about?
I think we could all use a break.
We probably need a little break anyway, even if we talk any more this afternoon. Or do you want to stop for the day?
How many more department heads do we have to meet with?
None today.
Well, I mean, will it take till 12 o'clock to meet with all of them tomorrow?
So the schedule tomorrow, we start at 8:30 with Greg Jackson, and the last one is scheduled at 11 o'clock with Steve-O.
Okay.
They need to go on notice that if we call them, what do you got, 20-minute intervals or
Have them at 30-minute intervals.
30? Okay. Why don't you have Ashley let them know that if one of them takes 20 minutes, we may be calling them 10 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah. And that's what I did with Dudley. I texted him and he hopped right on. So
yeah, I think if we need to do that tomorrow as well.
I can send them an email and tell them to be ready in case we finish up early.
Perfect.
The fire department, Mayor, because Greg is bringing the chief and maybe another officer, they're going to come to the boardroom and be in there with y'all tomorrow morning at 8:30.
8:30, okay.
It would probably be good if they sat in the chairs around the table with y'all.
That's
so
fine.
that they wouldn't have their backs to everyone on Zoom.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Tell them they sit in my seat. Don't steal that cushion.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, Michelle and Ashley, thank y'all. Y'all done a great job. And then what we'll do is meet with the department heads in the morning, and then somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be able to sort out these numbers.
Okay. So is that it for
estimates on the lease?
That's it for the day?
Yeah. Mayor, did you not take a bath?
No, I was waiting till Friday.
Well, I mean, everybody left, so I was wondering if something happened.
Okay, no, Zena didn't leave me.
She's blending in with the flag. I didn't see her.
Okay.
She's so quiet over there.
We will adjourn till 8:30 in the morning then.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay.